Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is an informational meeting of the Wareham Sewer Commissioners, January 20th, 1 o'clock. And I'd like to have a roll call. Peter?
Peter Dunlop, present.
Bob Scanlon, present.
Bernie Pigeon, present.
And Jim Gibberti, present. The purpose of this meeting today, and it's on Zoom, is for Danny Warren, the contractor of the job at Swiss Beach, to give us an update and let everyone know what's going on and what's going to be happening down there through completion. And so at this point, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Danny and let him do his show.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you guys for coming. First of all, we'll start with some good news. The patent was approved. Fastest in history. 5 weeks. Yeah, that's what they told us. There'd never been one issued that fast. So, and all clauses in the patents were approved. So exactly what we did down there now will be locked going forward. So anyway, where we're at now, phase one is, for all intent and purposes, done, except the paving. But you'll see us come back close when we get finished up on the other end on phase two. We ran into a lot of obstacles in phase one that were not identified in the drawings from 1977. They were not correct. So what we were told in a lot of places was not there. We ran into some real horror shows. In the first run of pipe, it come out of the manhole, and we caught it the day before, so it saved a lot of financial burden for the town and everybody. We didn't design a head to cut through a steel pipe. We designed a head to cut through an asbestos pipe. So the first pipe out was steel, not asbestos. We heard an excuse for that. So we not that we didn't trust or didn't believe, we just couldn't take the chance. So we went out another 13 feet and dug another hole, which costs, when you dig a hole out there between the pumps and the digging and everything, it's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But we dug down and we found another steel pipe. So then we knew something was bad wrong. So we went to the other end of the job at Bayview, and we dug down and we found a plastic pipe that was there from the original repair. So we thought, okay. So we go a little further out and we dig another hole and we find another plastic pipe way beyond where the plastic pipe should have stopped being plastic pipe. So those pipes did not have, they weren't pushed into tight, and the tolerances is closed into the O-rings, so those pipes have been leaking a long time. So that's why we had the sumps in the road all over the place. So we got another head on the truck that was coming in that should have been, they said could cut steel pipe. So the head got here and we went on with the project. We went down the project about 180 feet with no issues. Then the machine come to an abrupt dead stop. And we were pulling at 150,000 ton of pull. Couldn't do nothing with it. Couldn't go forward, couldn't go backwards. So now we dug down to try to figure out what was going on crazy. By law, you can only dig so close with a big machine, then you gotta stop and start digging by hand. So when we dug down there, we realized that it was all a steel pipe, and it had cut through the steel pipe, but at one point, at the far end coming east, these steel risers were welded to the top that were coming up, and then they made a Y, so one pipe could go to this side of the street, one pipe could go to that side of the street. Then it transitioned to asbestos to go out to the street line and to the houses. So when the machine got to that, it was like trying to pull the world with it. It couldn't cut that. So the machine was bound up tight. It took us 3 days to get the machine freed up, get the machine out. When we meet again, I'll have some pictures to show you guys. I didn't get them done quick enough. So we had to pivot and figure out what the heck to do. So then we decided the only thing we could do is get the sheet piles deeper and bigger and then block it from the back, because if you even touch something at that depth, the ocean's coming in on you. It came in on us twice, but we had it, because what we did, we kept it safe. We kept the community safe, we kept the workers safe. As we were driving the plates on the north side, the plate come to a dead stop. We couldn't get the plates to go down another inch, no matter what we did, and we couldn't understand it. And because the sheet pile went down. You get the sheet pile goes down, and you put these big steel plates down vertically for a backup safety to help keep the ocean under control. So now we had to dig down again, and we tried to pull the sheet piles up. We pulled the sheet piles up, we dug down again, and we couldn't believe what we found. And there's a couple of them on the ground out there that you can go see. There was 14-inch H-beams out of steel that was laid down, 2 on each side of the pipe. And then across those, there was 14-inch yellow pine wooden bridge beams that were crossing. So the only thing, none of this was on a drawing anyplace. None of it was showing us anything at all. So we couldn't understand why, because it should have never been there. Then the more we dug, the more we found. And now we got this delicate balance to keep the ocean out and keep the job safe at the same time. So it took us several days just to work that out to get the job safe again so we could keep working. So we pulled a couple of the beams out, 2 of the wood, 2 of the steel. We photographed all the other stuff. We took some other debris out, old pipe and stuff from 1977 that it's like they cleaned the yard and just threw it out there. So that's why we're behind schedule. But we did get all that other debris. We were able to push it back to the side, and by expert operators, and I'm not one, but those guys truly are, they were able to get that other beam pulled with 2 machines and then hammered back with another machine and then drop it in the back to cut the ocean off. But we actually have video of when they just touched one of the poles that they made this truss out of to hang the pipe from, and that's what they did. When you went from 9 feet, 9.5 feet, it turns into quicksand, and there's no other word for it. It's just soup. So they made a truss above that so they could hang the pipe and keep the grade of the pipe, because they didn't know how to work in it down there at that time. So we had to redo all of that, and we did know how to do it once we knew what we were up against, and that's what we did. So that's why we're behind schedule. The reason we're going to have to come back and dig, we got to dig. The engineering firm felt that it could probably be okay to leave it as the contractor. I looked at it, and I had a good engineer friend of mine look at it, and we both decided that we would be absolute fools to pave over that road knowing that there's a slump in that pipe. The reason there's a slump in the pipe is we'd laid the new sewer up top, which was all in the design, but we had to dig under it to free the head, and so then we had the 2 floods and then the 3rd flood. So the pipe settled in that spot where we dug under it. So we're going to dig that 30 feet back up. We left the piling and everything in place, so it won't be a big deal when the time comes. But when you see us come back there, I just want everybody to know why we're coming back there. So we're going to dig that up, and we're going to relay that to get it back on grade, and we're going to put the good soil underneath it like we did all the rest of it. And that's the other thing we did. Every place we had to dig, we took that soil out, all checked to make sure it's safe, and we disposed of it. So now then going into phase 2, because phase 1's done, all the sewers are switches over on the sewer, and the water has both been switched over on phase 1. I think that went pretty flawless. Did anyone have any problems with your water? Good. So now we're on to phase 2. So we learned a lot on phase 1, and what we really learned was we cannot trust those drawings, the drawings that we bid by. And a contractor's dream come true is to be in a situation like that, to where the bid documents are absolutely horribly wrong, and then they got all these change orders. We did not do that. We've figured out how to get around it, hold the price where we said it was going to be, and keep it there as tight as possible. So phase 1 is gone. So we learn a lot from phase 2. We're going into phase 2. So now when we start going west on the other side of Bayview, we dug down and we found an asbestos pipe, which was what's supposed to be there. But the second or third pipe out, it's steel again. So now we go down the road, and we were spot digging and getting down to it, and then we'd take a rod and start probing until we found it. When we got within 2 or 3 feet of it down in the muck, it's all steel pipe, all the way down to the next street. So what we're going to do there, so when you guys see it, you'll understand, we're not gonna go through that madness again. We've looked at the numbers, and we're going to just dig that whole pipe up and relay it and be done with it. Because the pipe, if you look at that stretch of road between Bayview and the next street, you had all those valleys in the road with all the big cracks that were always holding water, and the cracks get bigger every time it rains. That's because those pipes are never sealed right. And when you send a camera down it, you can see the pipe doing this, so it would never end the problem. And if we could go through it, we would still have the same thing, because we're just gonna follow that. So we're gonna dig that out. That pipe's all gonna go to a junkyard and lay it with new pipe. Once again, full disclosure, not asbestos. So God only knows what they were thinking in 1977. God only knows why it isn't on the drawings, but it's not on the drawings. It's not on the drawings of the debris. Scott's not here today, our new sewer director, the guy that replaced Guy Campina. Scott found the drawings, and the drawings show that the whole pipeline is steel. So now you think, okay, what the hell? Because it's been asbestos, 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 asbestos. The asbestos is up in the Ys going back to the houses. But now when we get to the next street down, it turned into asbestos and it stayed asbestos. So it's just a turkey shoot. So you're gonna see more digging on phase 2. We'll still keep it neat, organized, we'll fill in as we go. But our goal is to have a perfect job when we're done. That's our main goal. So then on the last stretch, the last 300 feet, that is asbestos. So that'll be done as it was planned to be. There's been no secrets, no shading, anything. We have inspectors out there every day from the state that are private inspectors that the state had the town hire. They're working for the town, they're not working for us. They've watched everything that's been done, they've supervised everything. Just for a side note, the little bit of asbestos that we have encountered, just the lateral pipes, has cost over $100,000 to get rid of enough pipe that you could haul away in the back of your pickup truck. And their bill's right at $100,000 for that little bit. So now we'll finish the job off. We're gonna stay on our schedule. It was a godsend that the town allowed us to put all the water main in at once, because this cold snap isn't gonna stop us at all, and it hasn't stopped us at all. We got most of our pits in for phase 2 already. We got our wells in, well, most of the wells are in for phase 2. So then when we get to the end of the road, at the far end, where we make that turn, we're going to go down that dirt road, because we found there that there's asbestos. So what we're gonna do there is, because it's running down to one property, but it's on, oh, well, good for you.
I'm on the left.
Well, you're gonna get a new pipe too. So we're gonna lay a new line down, and we're gonna abandon that one in place and probably fill it up with the foam and just leave it there, because we don't have to get that deep. They got it down crazy deep again. The town tried to dig it up and fixed it themselves. They couldn't get the reach with their excavators, so we went over to give them a hand. It's just too close to the ocean. It's unbelievable the amount of water down there. So we're gonna lay a new pipe on top there and bring that around. And that would be, other than the paving in the spring, and it will be early spring, we'll have that all paved and done well before summer.
You fill in that side road down to the beach, right? Because you're gonna dig that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That dirt road. Yeah, we're gonna go right down and terminate it where it is.
Yeah.
There's another one, well, I don't wanna talk about Scott's business. Scott found another one that's just gonna get terminated. It's like a pipe from nowhere that's going nowhere, except putting water in the sewer. So that's gonna go away too. So our hope is to still have the job done middle of next month, and then everything but the paving, and have it cleaned up and ready. And if we get to there, we're gonna set our gravel paved road on top first, our gravel layup to build a new bedding for the new road. And then that'll all be done, and as soon as the plants open up in the spring, we'll pave it and be done with it. Any questions from anyone for me? Yes, sir.
So the grade that you're going to have finished, by the way, I'm Kevin Berry, 187 Swift Beach Road. So the grade that you're shooting for while you're waiting for the paving facilities to open up is going to be gravel and cleaned up?
Yeah, it'll be processed stone gravel, and that'll be cleaned up, and that'll be laid. We'll have to regrade it again before we lay the pavement, of course, but we're not gonna leave it like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. It's,
Yeah.
you know, we've had horrific storms coming in the last 3. And
Yeah.
that intersection at Swift Beach and Wankinko is,
A mess.
it's quite bad. But are those storm drains? I mean, you're digging around the storm drains too. Are
Yeah,
those
yeah, but,
operable?
no, and I'll tell you why, because it'd be hopeless when we got done. Those all have strainer bags and blocks underneath them.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the outside engineers came and said, "My God, you filled the whole thing up with dirt." And we said, "Oh, my God, no, we put blocks underneath it so it can't fill up with dirt." But those will work fine once it's done. But that's one of the problems, those are blocked, and they were blocked for a reason, because there'd be so much dirt in there, you'd be unbelievable trying to get it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been, the whole beach area has just gotten pounded over the last, few storms, and it comes right down there, and I'm surprised you guys didn't lose a piece of equipment or two.
It was
Quite a bit of
crazy.
water.
Not to jump from here to another town, but I was in Mattapoisett yesterday. You would not believe the damage. It's crazy damage. And seawalls are washed out in front of multi-million-dollar homes. One of the big riprap dock for the town, it's beat to death. We're gonna try to fix it, but we don't, maybe we can, maybe we can't. We're gonna try to fix it, though. So we got hit, excuse me one second. We got hit with 3 floods in a row out there, and some of the older guys that lived out there forever, they said it's the first time we ever seen back-to-backs like this put this place underwater. But we were out there in that first bad storm, and Derek came out doing his job, making sure everything was safe and the community was gonna be safe and everything he could, and decided to take 3 pictures, and then he wanted just one more. And we went back for the one more, he damn near almost took a trip. The wave hit him and knocked him. And he stayed on his feet, but he was ready to go home after that. Yes, sir?
Hi, Dan. Charlie and Julie LaVaca, 196 Swift Beach Road. We're the last guys down on the left, where there's been a lot of impact on our landscape, obviously.
Yeah.
The restoration of that would occur coincident with the paving?
No, to be honest with you, I want to try to get some of that done before the paving.
Oh,
Yeah, because if we can get that done and have that, you're right there where I park in your driveway when you're not home. No, you'll be the first thing gets fixed, trust me.
You're the guy.
Yeah, and I got you some, we're gonna talk about that anyway. I can get some, if you want, you tell me, but I can get some Greenheart posts to replace your posts. They're bigger, but they
Discussed
will,
that last meeting, yes.
they will absolutely never rot.
I'm all in.
Yeah, I have them left over from my place where we cut some of them off. Yep, all right, good.
Thank you.
Anyone else, anything else?
So just to go back on the storm drain thing, and I don't even know if that's a part of this overall project, but those will be operable.
Yes, they will be. And I tell you, they will be, but they really need a cleaning regimen to get started out there. Where I'm putting the marina in, when the rain comes down off the hill, the water is spraying out of all the storm catch basins like fountains. It's crazy, and they've just not been cleaned. I do believe you'll see a lot more of that stuff being done now that everyone is aware of how bad it is. I mean, we got a lot of good pluses in the town. We got Scott, that I think is great, and we got Josh, the new conservation. He really knows his stuff and he understands. And we got a good sewer board, and we got Dave Menard. So I think you'll see a lot of that getting done better. I don't know when they got it, but the town has a new Vector truck now, I saw out there.
Yes.
Yeah, a much newer, I'm not saying it's new, but it's a nice truck. So I think you'll see a program get started doing that. because if you peck away at it, you'll get it done. But I kind of watching what I'm saying, because the engineering was so bad on the first piece, who the hell knows what they did? I mean, it was a long, long time ago. The town paid a lot of money for engineering that, I don't know. But from our point of view as contractors, just to give you, so you understand, it's a no questions asked. You can get up to 10% of the project cost. We didn't get near that. We're hundreds of thousands away from that with a little bit more we did ask for from the 2 times we just got jammed up, so we couldn't move at all. So,
If I might interject, on the storm drains, there's about 2,000 storm drains in town. And so, and David is short-staffed, as is every department, but my area, West Wareham, they were just up there, they're contractors, outside contractors that are doing that. I believe he has a grant, and it's a federal regulation to clean the storm drains. They were on a cycle. So he's working at it, but it's a big job.
Yeah, no doubt, and, there's been these last 3 storms, and I think there might have been 4 since September. You lose count after a while, but, it just seems that with the grade and everything that's going into Wankinko, it would be a shame to repave that intersection if the storm drains, that one runs up to the beach, another one by this lady's house over here, if they're not.
Yeah, it's like, it comes down Murphy Street there, right?
Yeah, right there. I mean, these things are probably worse off than what you're looking at with your septic problems. But it is what it is, and I'm not sure all the individuals that are sitting here, what capacity you're working in this job, but geez, it would be nice if they somehow coexist with what's going on in the street.
Well, I can't, not speaking for us, but for the contractor we have on the job, he's very conscientious and very concerned about the people around that work site. And so Danny's, you can be sure it's gonna be done right
yeah.
and complete.
And we will run our cameras up when we're out there,
Yeah.
probably up to the next block and we'll jet them. It's not a big deal to do it when you're there.
Sure.
It's a big deal to come back and do it.
Basically my point that I was trying to make.
Yeah.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, that's fine. And the other thing, he's not here today, but I'm looking at the drawing where we make the turn at both ends of the road. One end we had nothing to do with the mess, the other end we did the mess, your end. So, and down on your end, going the other way, we're gonna try to, on our contract, that we have the contract to do the paving. We don't have all of it, because in the first contract, they pulled it out. We were just supposed to leave it with a temporary grade, and just where we dug. So if we do all the paving, or the end where we are gonna do the paving, we're gonna wrap that around up into that corner and get rid of that. When you're coming, we're talking at, what's that last street going west?
Murphy?
Murphy, where it makes the big turn at Murphy. Well, if you go back, to the first actual house that's on Murphy, there's a big dip there, and that's from another leak.
They broke a water pipe down there a couple of years, 3 or 4 years, no, maybe probably 6 years ago. And the city called me and said, are you coming down to use your house? Because we broke a water pipe down there. It happened to be like this time of year and I wasn't going down, so that was fine. But they did have a broken water pipe down there for a while.
Yeah, so that digs a hole, and
Yeah.
that probably didn't get fixed properly.
Yeah.
And then there's another thing, you guys, just to tell you, is
Surprise.
the night we nicked the gas main out there,
Oh, I remember that.
yeah, well, that turned out to be a little bit of a blessing in disguise, because I got to meet the head guy at National Grid, and I finally got my gas turned on at the marina that I've been waiting for a year. But what we found was, and it potential for a nightmare, so that all got fixed too. When they ran the gas lines, the small gas lines back to everybody's house, they didn't measure them and cut them and do it. Whatever they had left over, they just threw it in a hole and buried it with everything else. So the gas should have been up here, and we hit one way down here. So then not trusting nothing after some of the things we ran into. At the next one, when we got started close, we went really, really slow with the digging, and we found they were all done that way. So what we did was we instead of getting National Grid out, because it would have took forever to get them, we got them all back up and got them looped up and wire tied them up and then staked them up high where they're supposed to be. So that takes away that chance of that happening again to somebody else in the future.
So phase one was pulling it from Swift Beach, just so that I understand the phasing, was from intersection at Swift Beach up to,
Bayview.
Bayview,
Bayview.
and then two was going from there down towards
down to Murphy.
Murphy Street.
Yep.
Yep.
Same
So-
thing, same pipe, you just broke it up into two different.
Two different jobs, correct. And it was all because of financing, and money's tight, and everybody knows it. Derek was able to find some federal money to help with offsetting it. That's one of the reasons why it got broken two pieces.
Yep.
And then these guys stepped up, and these guys have done a lot, I'm telling you, they've done a whole lot. So, and that's where we're at today.
Is there a phase three?
There's not a phase 3 at this point.
Okay, so
Don't say
Not,
that.
not just right now.
Don't-
At this point.
Don't say that yet, Danny.
Right.
There's a number of projects that are under discussion, and we're trying to establish priorities and just how serious they are. It's amazing when everything's buried, of course, so we never see it. And then you get your data that suggests something, and then you have to explore it even further. But there is a number, we have a number that are in progress, as well as a number that are on our books. And we're waiting for some more data.
Gonna have phase 3 through 30. That's the problem. That's the hydra out there, all over.
Oh, and the other thing, the only other thing I want to say was, if we would have known it was a steel pipe, we would have done things somewhat different. But, and here's the risk that you run after what we learned. If it's a steel pipe, you got to treat it like it's a steel pipe. If it's an asbestos pipe, it's a whole different story. Things could have been, going forward, if we can know what's really there on future projects, we'd all be way ahead. Financially, everybody would be way ahead. Because when you're dealing with an asbestos pipe that close to the ocean, that was a massive gamble for me personally, because I had to bond that. Nobody bond that job. So we just had faith in what we could do, and we went ahead and did it. But if we would have known that was a steel pipe, it would have been a different story. But at the same time, if we'd known it was steel pipe, it would have probably been more money. So a lot got learned all the way around. So we're happy as contractors, and we're trying to make sure you guys stay happy. That's what it boils down to.
So at the end you're going to now, down near Murphy Street, right now, I can still get around the plates and get down Murphy Street to get to my driveway.
Yep.
Is there gonna be a time when that is dug up and I won't be able to get to the house?
No,
No? Okay.
no. We'll dig and get level, and we compact. That's another thing I want to say with all these floods,
Yeah,
and that's back to doing things right.
yeah.
We compacted, vibrated all that as we went, when we put the new dirt in. And these guys, that was some of the money they helped with. We brung in good dirt, because that was, when they did that, they just put the sand and the muck right back. There was no structural fill or nothing down there anywhere. So that road should stop sinking.
Well, that would be nice.
There shouldn't be any more problems. On that piece of road, when we're done, there shouldn't be any more problems. But you'll definitely be able to go home every night.
Okay.
If it takes the sinking out of the road, it's gonna take all the challenge of driving down there.
Oh, gee.
Now, that was in,
You won't have that quaint little community anymore.
go ahead.
Dan, you mentioned you're gonna have to redig a portion. Where is that section?
If you come around the corner at the end of, right in front of your house.
Yeah.
You come around that corner and you go up about, I'd say 80 to 120 feet, it's right there.
Third of the way up to Bayview?
Towards
Towards
Bayview.
Yeah, but that'll be a 2-day deal, and you'll be able to drive it all the time. And the only reason we're not fixing it right now, after all these floods. We want to let it really settle the best it can, because we're watching it tight, too. That's why we still got those plates out there, because you don't want sinkholes out there. You just, you can't have that. So we've got a situation now, we know there's no pipes going to leak, period. So, like I say, we make that right, and we get it compacted underneath and keep it on grade, and away we go.
My kudos to the crew down there. It's a small access area as it is, under the best of conditions, and with all those dump trucks, excavators and other equipment, they've always still maintained access to me at the very end, and
Yeah, they're
I'm
just,
good about that.
Yeah, I've never had trouble.
that whole family, as we speak right now, are in Portugal together. And Stephen, the son that runs the company now, he has already called me 3 times today. I'm like, come on, Steve, enjoy your family, we're okay, we're gonna make it, we're gonna make it without you. So they're incredible contractors. The first contractor that really tried to do something sleazy, I hated losing him, but I thank God now I did, because these guys are way better people to work with. So anyway, that's where we're at.
I must, if I may interject, compliment Danny here, because I don't know of any project in which the local residents have such a relationship with the contractor that's doing all the excavating.
Yes, it's wonderful.
That's what I always say.
Information is good.
Yeah, information's good. And not bragging, but we worked all over the world, and we have friends in Australia, we have friends in New Zealand, we have friends in Germany, because we made friends. And as you guys will see when that ends, we'll have a very big party down there this summer, and everybody will be invited. And we're gonna have and there'll be a dump the pump sign burning, and that's that. Yes, sir.
This might be a stupid question. Are all the plans, are the engineers updating all these plans as you go along now? So like 60, 70 years from now?
All right.
those there?
I'm gonna answer that question, and I'm not, and I don't think I'm wrong with what I'm getting ready to say. That new guy in that sewer department is a godsend for you guys, because he is not gonna have the crap. I'm just telling you, he's not. And he reminds me very much of me when I was that age. I started this company very, very young, and I stayed in the trenches my whole life till I just, he's 68, 69, 70 years old, it's time to stop. But the thing is, he is a hands-on guy, and I got to watch what I say, because this thing could get crazy before it's over. I'm just going to tell you, you got a guy there now that's got his eyes wide open, and he is smart. So, there you go. So to answer your question, yes, and with us, when we're done, there'll be solid as-built. What we encountered, what's still in the ground, because we couldn't stand there and take it all out, because no one knew where it was going to stop. And to be honest with you, to have that, and you can't blame anybody, because think about it, where were you in 1977, Guy Campina's name comes up a lot, and I know where he was in a Marine Corps uniform. I know right where he was. So, and there's no way to go backwards and change what they did, and you just have to deal with it. So what we did was, we pushed everything and that was another good thing, getting that water main on the other side of the road. That was a godsend for everybody going forward in the future. But we were able to move those beams and manipulate all that stuff and get it out of the way. But anyone wants to see, I'll show you on the phone. I mean, those beams were huge, and we were having to cut chunks out of them with a chainsaw so we could get the excavators on them and rip them out in pieces and bring them up. I did get 2 big ones out, and I'm going to turn them into a table, because the wood is absolutely beautiful. It's been down there for a very long time.
Encapsulated.
Yeah. So, yes, it will definitely be documented where everything is, and marked and done.
Thank you.
Okay, does anybody else have anything anywhere? Anybody? Bob, it's up to you now.
It's all up to me.
Yeah,
No, I think everything's in good hands. The construction crew, I keep coming back to this, the one word to describe them that comes to me is conscientious. They stay on top of things, they find problems before they occur, before they become a problem. they've been really great guys, and it's almost choreographed down there, the way that they've been handling the construction, so. And I'll echo Danny's sentiments about Scott, our new director at the sewer department. He's definitely a hands-on guy. He's got a lot of great ideas. He's implemented a lot of them, and he's made a big difference thus far, and he's only been on the job for a couple of months, so, yeah, we have a lot of faith and confidence in Scott. So things will be different going forward, and, yeah, I think I know that Phase 1 worked out well. I saw the camera work of the pipes. There's no leaks between Bayview and Pleasant. That's nice, no infiltration there, and I expect the same to hold true all the way down to Murphy. So, yeah, it'll be a vast improvement over what was there.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry at all about another plug. It can't happen now, and that's a big thing. The only street I'm worried about is, which I'm gonna get a camera up at before we close out down there, is where Bayview goes north. And I know that there's a problem in there. I don't know how big that problem is, but I know there's a problem in there. Because that was one of the original sump pump problems on that
Okay.
street. But we try as contractors not to keep coming back and say, give us something else, give us something else. I mean, it's not right. We will show what needs to be done, and these guys can make their decisions. Anybody wants to see any of the madness, I'm glad to show you on the phone, or when we have another meeting like this, I'll have a little closeout video of the whole thing, and everybody can see what we dealt with and what you've got now.
We can wait.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we can wait.
Okay, Danny, I want to thank you very much for this. I think everybody's more on board with what's going on, and we're certainly glad we have you here. And Peter, if you want to make the motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.